the planning process. Planning. If you recall, yesterday we had concluded temporarily after getting to know Nehru-Mahalanobis model, heavy industry, basic, whatever you like to call, enclosed economy, protected economy, and we even went into a discussion on protectionism. We protected our nascent infant industry economy not only from imports but also from foreign direct investment. We didn't want a multinational to come and create competition for our infant industry. So in multiple ways we shut out foreign competition and protected our domestic industry to come up so that we become Atmanirbhar, self-reliant. So that was Nehru-Mahalanobis model. Then comes chronologically you have third 5-year plan. So everything was going hunky-dory, all was well. Initially agriculture, later industry, so going by the script. But in the third 5-year plan, you had polycrises, multiple crises. You balanced, okay, I took care of agriculture, then industry, now we are okay on both fronts. Let's balance the two, a little of industry, little of agriculture. That was the idea, that was the strategy. And green revolution, you know, Norman Borlaug and others, hybrid seeds, irrigation, fertilizers, pesticides, tractor and the big pharma, all of them combined to create a green revolution, which is resource intensive, technology intensive, primarily aimed at boosting the productivity of the agriculture in the country, productivity per hectare productivity. So that the fruit of the green revolution comes later. The seed might have been sown here. So you know, 1962, China commits external aggression. While I am talking, they can commit external aggression once again also. Because whenever there is a problem within the country, the leader would like to divert the attention of the people from his responsibility for the domestic mess to a foreign, a problem. So it's likely that China will be very aggressive on us. It's very, very likely. So they committed external aggression in 1962 and then they occupied Aksai Chin. We declared external, that is emergency based upon external aggression. That was in 62. 64, Nehru died. 65, you know, Lal Bahadur Shastri lasted hardly and he also died. And then in 65, Pakistan external aggression. So one external aggression, another external aggression, one prime minister dies, another prime minister dies. So there was uncertainty, instability, and so on in the third 5-year plan. It wasn't the best. That was the third 5-year plan. And that was the beginning of the bad time. It was not the only period of bad time. Then, see, to have a 5-year plan, you must have economic stability, political stability. You should spend all the money, most of the money on infrastructure and civilian works. But you don't know when somebody is going to hit you, commit external aggression, how much of your financial resource should be civilian and defense. You know nothing. And therefore, it was thought that no, a 5-year plan is possible from 66 to 69. Plan holiday. Mrs. Gandhi became the Prime Minister, 1966. But in 66, something happened. I would like to talk about it and show you a graphic on that also. 6, 6, 6, 6. June the 6th, 1966, what happened? See, we have our own domestic rupee. We are an insulated economy. No exports, no imports that you can, speak of. No foreign direct investment, no external participation by our agents, our own industry. Neither exports, nor imports, nor FDI, inbound, outbound, nothing. You're isolated, insulated, you're protected, you're not globalized. You're not globalized. Still, we don't have oil, we have to import. Food, you have to import. And also you require some aid from the World Bank. So you go to the World Bank and ask them, sir, give me $1 billion. World Bank, you speak very highly of the World Bank, IMF, etc. But what are they primarily? Money lenders. So a money lender lends you money, but he wants you to follow policies that will fetch you money so that you can return the money. So World Bank told us, see, okay, we'll give you the money, but what are you doing to earn foreign currency? How will you repay me? You can't repay me at this rate. So you do one thing, you devalue Indian rupee. Those days we used to fix the rate of Indian rupee to British pound sterling, not dollar. Those days we still continued with the British pound. At some rate we used to fix it. RBI would fix it. This many rupees per British pound. That is a fixed rate. You may call it peg and all that, but fixed rate. That is the rate. Is it not arbitrary? It could be. It was. Go to the Hawala market, you have to give more rupees per pound, and pound will get you more rupees. Officially, pound will get you far less number of rupees. Who will export? I won't export, because I export, work very hard and get a sterling pound, and then that will fetch me such few rupees. If I go into the Hawala market, that's against the law. If I go to the official market, I'm getting a pittance. So exports were killed by this artificial, arbitrary, overvalued rate of the rupee. Why did you overvalue? Because we had imports to make. Imports would be cheap. That will protect the domestic economy from inflation. Imagine today 83 rupees. 83 rupees has become the new normal, and this 83 rupees is going to inflate the economy. 84 even more. Why? If it is 80, I'm buying a dollar with 80. Inflation is linked to 80. 80 to 83, which means about 30% more of inflation, 33% more of inflation. So the cheaper the domestic currency in the global market, the more the inflation if you are importing. Exports will go up, provided you have something to export. Imports you have to, exports you may, So a cheaper currency in the global market will hurt you. That was our calculation, and therefore we overvalued the rupee. But then you are going to the World Bank. World Bank will tell you, you want my money, you cheapen the rupee. And according to the ground realities, and that will boost your exports, whatever you have to export, a little bit of foreign direct investment also will come. Because I'm an FDI, I want to invest in your country, I'm getting a pound, what are you giving me? With that, what business will I do? Give me the ground level rate, market rate. You overvalued your rupee. Why will I come to your country? If I don't come to your country, how will the country get foreign currency? So you go to the World Bank for foreign money, dollars. World Bank would like the money returned at some interest, may not be super commercial rate, but yeah, it's market rate. For that you have to export and get money. Get some tourists. Those days, 1966 I'm talking about. India was spiritual country. Haridwar had lot of Ganga. Rishikesh, pure Ganga water. And you go higher, gods were living there. So the whole world was thinking of India as a spiritual country. They would come to the country, they'll bring foreign currency. For that, they should, I'm getting a pound. You are giving me, just simplistic 10 rupees. I know the market rate is 16 rupees. You're giving me 10. So even if I come to your country, I can't go beyond Delhi and Agra. If you give me 16, I can go to Haridwar and Rishikesh and so on and so forth. So you want tourists, or you want exports, or you want the foreign investor. All of them are driven by the right rate, which is the market rate, and if you overvalue, you are losing all that. And if you don't earn foreign currency, you can't return me. So, if you want my loan, the World Bank loan, you better do A, B, C, for which you have to do one thing, devalue the currency. We had no choice, because you have to import energy and all that. You devalued it by 60%. 60% is the drop in the value of Indian rupee in relation to the pound sterling, because RBI, rupee, pound, I fixed a rate according to my convenience and interest. That's not in line with the market. And when you go to the World Bank, they'll ask you, stay with the market, go into the market. So I had to devalue. I have no choice. I need your money, and you're a money lender, etc., etc. Now, this is the right time for you to see a graphic on this 6th of June 1966. Oh yes. Can we? See? Super simplified. Once you've gone through, I'll explain. I've already explained.
Sir, will you please zoom it a bit?
Zoom, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Give me also some work. Ask me a question. This is all in relation to dollar. I'm talking about a 60% drop in the value in relation to pound. Okay, exports are bound to pick up after all, Why will exports pick up right now? $1, 83 rupees. You want to buy let's say a laptop, which is 80 rupees. $1, 80 rupees, you will buy the laptop. If the dollar was fetching you 84, you will not only buy the laptop, it will also spare you 4 rupees more. Keep that 4 rupees, save the 4 rupees. So, certain other things favoring a cheaper rupee in relation to dollar makes Indian goods attractive price-wise. That doesn't mean you can cheapen the rupee and export to the world and occupy the global market. You need to have quality and consistency and reliability and so on. So, surely exports will go up. But the point also was that imports cost you more. This was in 66. You'll start getting the bite, a little later. So inflation started picking up by about 71 or so. FDI, we didn't bank on too much of FDI. Exports started picking up and imports became inflationary because of cheap rupee vis-a-vis the pound. And here, please, this last one, devaluation of 66, did it have long-term effect? For long-term effect, just cheapening the rupee, devaluation won't work. For you to have long-term effect, you need to get your infrastructure right, human capital right, research and development right, productivity right, policy right. All the policies together will ensure that the cheaper rupee will benefit the economy. Just by cheapening every country will do it. So this is only one factor that can help you export the rate at which the rupee sells for a foreign currency. That's only one factor. So what did I say here? It was not a part of structural reforms. It was a crisis-driven devaluation and therefore long-term effects are absent.
Sir, so the money was devaluated. So it was done because there was an economic slowdown due to consecutive wars or droughts, or it was done to promote exports.
The last line, you have to speak higher volume.
I am saying the money was devaluated. Was it done because there were consecutive wars and economic slowdown in the country, or was it done to promote exports?
It was done, see, basically World Bank told you, here there's $1 billion or 200 million, whatever. For you to, two reasons why the World Bank told you to devalue. 3 reasons. Number 1, it's not the market rate, number 1. 2, you have to return the money to me, for which you have to keep a market rate at which you can export, and you can get the FDI and you can get the tourists. So World Bank, like a money lender, wanted the money back, number 1. And the World Bank believes that the market mechanics will help the economy to post growth and artificial rates will stifle growth. So partly for ideological reasons, partly for pragmatic reasons, we were told to devalue. And it's a standalone policy. See, 91 when you devalued, 360 degrees you opened up the economy. Globalization, liberalization, privatization. But 1966 you just rigged it up a little bit, that's all. You devalued in order to satisfy the money lender. That's all. Did I answer you?
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Oh. See? Shorter one. I thought the earlier table had too much. And this is what is going to stay with you, till you've written the exam. And it has a useful material to link up the rupee, devaluation, consequences, etc. So this was the devaluation. Now, I told you, you could not launch the 5-year plan. Why? China, Pakistan, devaluation, 2 prime ministers are gone, another prime minister settling down. You know, with so much of instability and uncertainty, you cannot have a 5-year plan because you can't plan. For you to plan beyond 1 year, it takes a lot of ability to project. To project, it takes stability. And stability was not there. So you launched your, we'll take this away, Dharmendraji. So you had plan holiday. In plan holiday, what do you have? Annual plan you have. Annual plan. You don't have 5-year plan. This you won't have. Annual plan you have. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year. But then you get addicted to annual plan. It doesn't take much to have an annual plan. But the country is in need of development. Development can take place only long term, for which a 5-year plan is a precondition. So before no time, you got back into the 5-year plan because the crisis was over. You know, crisis was over. In fact, you were on the verge of a global victory. Bangladesh was burning and so you had a victory there. So, you know, plan holiday was over. Plan holiday is when you have annual plans but no 5-year plan. Between 66 and 69 you had a plan holiday. After that also 79, 80 you had one. After that 1992 you had one. And you never had again a plan holiday. Planning was abandoned in 2017, 1st of April. The 12th 5-year plan was completed formally, and we don't have any 5-year plans after that. So, you know, this is plan holiday. After that, from 69, 1st of April, 69 to 74. The most eventful in my view, in a way, what happened? You know, the 4th 5-year plan, green revolution, food security, most importantly. After that, what happened? Mrs. Gandhi nationalized banks. You know, that's a very bold step to take. That is what you call, you know, guts. Good guts. She nationalized banks. She told banks, you know, I'm going to be the majority owner, number one. She took over. She bought all the shares and took over. They are nationalized banks. They are government banks. Open branches in semi-urban and rural areas. Make them a part of the 5-year plan process under which you can, you know, subsidize the credit. Everyone else is getting 8%. Let the, you know, vulnerable get 3%, 4%. Subsidize the credit. Link it to poverty alleviation. Link it to employment generation. Link it to helping the artisans. And of course, agriculture and all that. These are the reasons why social banking was ushered in. You know, from class banking to mass banking was ushered in. Banks were pushed into unbanked areas, underserved areas. And that, in my view, you know, you can't expect a overnight transformation of society. To the extent there is a policy that can be appreciated, this certainly was one. That was in 69. And so 69. Then what happened? You had, of course, Lok Sabha elections. Then you had the Bangladesh problem. You created Bangladesh. And then what happened? Pakistan attacked us again. There was an external aggression. And the emergency that you had imposed in 1962, you ran it till 1968. In 68, you had lifted it. But then again, Pakistan attacked you. So again, you had to take recourse to national emergency, external aggression in 1971. And. So there was emergency, there was Lok Sabha election, there was Bangladesh liberation, there was Indo-Pak war, there was bank nationalization, and that's not all. Much more. See, 1973, you know, there are these Palestinians. These Palestinians, most unfortunate, they were driven out of their home, Israel occupied, and. So nobody was caring for them. So Saudi Arabia and others thought, the whole world depends on our oil. Let us increase the price of the oil 4 times so that they'll talk to us. We'll ask them, you know, we can do something only if you take care of Palestinians. That's how the oil was weaponized for a political objective. But then we are the best friends of Palestinians. You know, Yasser Arafat would come to India, you know, he'll feel like a friend of India, family of India, etc., etc. And genuinely, please, not politics, genuinely. But still, when they raised the price, they showed no concession and mercy on us. We also had to pay that price. We are perpetually dependent on oil, and so that inflated the economy. We nearly went into stagflation. Prices are high, you can't afford, you don't buy, growth is down. Price-driven recession is what you call stagflation. And you have the worst of inflation, you have the worst of recession. And did we go into that? No. But yes, the conditions were such. So that is another thing that happened. When economy doesn't do well, young people and everyone else, they get up. They protest. So students were protesting across India. All the campuses, they were on fire. Students were protesting because the longest life is that of a youngster. A child we are not taking into consideration. The man who opens his eyes, sees future, assesses the social conditions, decides the response is the youngster, particularly the college and university and Jayaprakash Narayan, all this. So this 69-74 fourth 5-year plan was a mixed bag, blessing and a curse. You had both of them. The geopolitics changed Bangladesh. Enormous credit to our Prime Minister those days. Bank nationalization, enormous credit. But then it was not in our hands to keep the economy growing and stable because OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, they did the mischief and you had to pay for it in spite of the fact that Palestinians and Indians are the best of friends. So it's not the work of the government. In spite of the government's best efforts, the economy could not do well, and that created so much of turmoil in the country. And then what happens? You come to the 5th 5-year plan. 5th 5-year plan. 74, I will not fill up. I'll fill up after 5 minutes. So you launched the 5th 5-year plan. The nation was in turmoil. There was so much of protest. There was so much of economic breakdown, and then some judicial rulings, etc. And the government thought that the protest is not a constructively democratic process. It is against the government for a narrow interest. They are not giving us a chance to do well. They are coming in our way. Their only intention is we should not do well, and therefore, time to suppress them and get into, good work. So yes, again, emergency was imposed. Now you will certainly ask me, 1971, emergency, And I'm saying during the 5th five-year plan once again, 1975 emergency. Why? The 71 thing was continuing, but why 75 again? There are two aspects here. One is the legal side. Legally speaking, you could have done all that you wanted to do. Not all, 99% you could have done. But then you had to arrest some prominent national leaders that the whole nation looked up to and put them in prison. And surely you cannot push them as Pakistani anti-national agents. So in order for the country to believe that the arrests were justified, you had to proclaim emergency on the basis of those days internal disturbance. That technical issue, and also the attack on fundamental rights, Article 19, etc., etc. To an extent, you could attack them a little more if the proclamation is based upon internal reasons. External, there's a bit of a difficulty in suspending fundamental rights, etc. That's not our topic right now. We will not discuss that. So it was thought that let's have internal disturbance based emergency even while the external aggression based emergency was continuing. So you had two emergencies at the same time. Most unusual. You had it. And then of course whatever you did, you did. And emergency has a backlash because after all there is India's DNA, D for democracy, you see. So Indians are most democratic. So there was backlash, and she was also a Democrat. When you scratch the surface, she is a Democrat, lifted the emergency, went for elections, and then lost it. Janata people came to power, and they didn't have much of a plan. They came together, banded together, ragtag. They had no ideological glue, they did not have. Common ground they did not have. They had common enemy, but the bonds of friendship, there's nothing. So they were quarreling, you wanted to, all that. So they came to power in 77, lost power in 79. And while they were in power, they introduced their own 6th five-year plan. But then they fell, and Mrs. Gandhi came back to power. So when she came back to power, she adjusted the official history of planning to say that her 5th five-year plan lasted from 74-79. They scrapped this plan and they put into action their own Janata five-year plan. But then there's hardly anything. What did they do? They did nothing at all. So when Mrs. Gandhi came back to power, she struck this down, number one. This was not to be discontinued, number two. And then officially she said that my five-year plan lasted its full term, 74-79, number three. And there was a plan holiday between 79 and 80, number four. And then the 6th five-year plan was put into motion from 80 to 85. That is how numbers got adjusted. And while Janata was there, Janata government, two concepts came up. One is rolling plan. Rolling plan. See, today means whatever, 5-year plan, annual plan, 5-year plan, 15-year plan. So every year we'll achieve the target. All 5 years, if something happens beyond your control, you can't do anything. So normally, I want to achieve my target 1 year, each year, 5 years, all 3 5 years perspective. Normally. And there is no flexibility, targets are rigid, you work overtime but do achieve the targets. But then you see, when conditions are fluid, you don't know how many, you don't know the fiscal side, external side. So when there is fluidity, you have two choices. One, do we abandon the 5-year plan, go only for annual plan holiday? Or shall we have a 5-year plan, but leave it flexible? I won't have 8% rate of growth. If I can't, I can't. I'll try my best. Let me have the target. But if I can't, I can't. So have the target, keep it flexible annually and at the 5-year plan level, and call it a rolling plan. Roll the target. Or don't have a 5-year plan at all. So between not having the 5-year plan and having a rolling plan with flexibility, between the two, Janta was toying. They were hardly there. They were toying with the idea of rolling plan, never settled down to have a rolling plan adopted. They considered it. That's how the concept comes up, rolling plan. And then there is another concept, Hindu rate of growth. Hindu rate. See, today, Hindu is a charged word. But those days, typical Indian DNA, everything is for humor. That society is the happiest, which has abundant room for humor. If I have to have 2 meals a day without humor, or 1 meal, all the humor, there is, 1 meal and all the humor is a natural choice. So Indians are known for their humor. So Professor Raj Krishna, Janata Government Planning Commission Vice Chairperson, the Delhi School of Economics he was teaching. A great economist, Professor Raj Krishna. 1978, he was the Deputy Chairperson of the Planning Commission. He wanted to figure out, India has everything, but is still growing at around 3%. We got the best bureaucracy, we got agricultural land, 145 million hectares, and we've got plenty of rivers, and we've got minerals. We've got a government that wants the country to grow, colleges, universities, rule of law. When you have all the resources, why is it that you are stuck? It is like a brilliant person is there. He's got the books, he's got the intelligence, he's got the time, he's ready to work hard. But the progress is less than what you expect. So, Raj Krishna did not have a rational explanation. So, Raj Krishna said, Hindu rate of growth. That means with rationality I can't explain. So, he might have joked also. But people took the concept so seriously that they attributed meaning to it. Hindu means otherworldly. Hindu means fatalistic. He believes everything is predetermined. There is no room for human effort. Everything is in your fate. All this nonsense people attributed, all that is plain nonsense, because there is no civilization greater than Indian civilization. At any rate, India is not, Hindu. There are Hindus, there are a lot of people are there. So when India did not grow, don't attribute it to Hindu mindset. He did not. I don't want to go into that. He did not. So what's the point? Point is this, that Hindus being otherworldly, Hindus being fatalistic, were not competitive. Therefore, even while having all the resources, they did not result in robust rate of growth of economy. he didn't say that, but unfortunately the orchestra is such that what he did not say, the orchestra says he said it, so we also have to fall in line. You have to say this. He is not alive. You know, he can't even defend himself. So that is the Hindu rate of growth. But then the point remains that we could have grown far, far better if only in the middle of the 60s we opened up our economy. Because by then Mahalanobis worked, agriculture found its root, government was making the right policies. Open up, like all the ASEAN tigers, open up. The world was waiting for you, but then you had the Cold War, you had a link with US. So you were tied up geopolitically and so on. For any number of reasons you did not open up. Merit was certainly not a reason. It was some other reason. That's the reason why you got stuck at 2.5 and 3. It's not for any other reason. There is time for protection. There is time for competition. When you are a child, you are protected. When you are no more a child, hit the highway so that you show your strength, acquire your strength. We didn't hit the highway at the right time. 91 we did, 65 we should have. So see how many decades you lost. It is just like your preparation, please. For 1 week if you lag behind for any reason, it's tough to catch up after that. You count your progress by hours. 1 hour also if you make a mistake and you fall down, tough. 1 hour may not be tough, but you know what I'm saying. You should do what you are expected to do rationally, and you cannot, compromise on that. If you do, it'll be tough. So, Raj Krishna should have said we should have opened up, we never opened up, and that's the reason. And I don't have to call it Hindu rate of growth, it was a policy mistake. So, 2 concepts I was telling you, the rolling plan and the Hindu rate of growth, both of them cropped up during the Janata 2 years. Any relevant graphic here, Dharmendra ji?
Rolling plan.
Okay. Rolling plan. Holidays, okay. But I think we have a better one for holidays. Yeah, holidays. Yes. Plan holiday, 3 years. Plan holiday, 1 year. Plan holiday, 2 years. We haven't come to here. This we covered. This of course we'll cover. Why the plan holiday and the historical context. Again, this is your clip for the exam. Whatever I told you, that's all there is. And since we haven't come here, you won't know why we had to suspend 5-year plan for 2 years. This you know more than anyone. This of course you know more than anyone. And this you have to wait till we get there. Within no time we'll be there, maybe half an hour or so. Yeah. Rolling plan, yes. They were toying with the idea, they didn't implement this. And well before that in 1962 when China attacked us, Ministry of Defense implemented it. Because after all somebody is breathing down on the border, bigger country, you don't know where you are headed, therefore don't have rigid targets, keep it fluid. So Ministry of Defense. Here somewhere you will find the Ministry of Defense and Gunnar Myrdal, Defense Ministry. You know Gunnar Myrdal, Asian drama, he wrote another book, Indian Economic Planning and all that. He is the person who, created a debate about the rolling plan. He said, have a rolling plan, don't abandon 5-year plans, have a rolling plan, consider that idea also, don't be very rigid, keep it fluid, etc. Rolling plan. Anything else? Oh, bank nationalization. Yes, please, please. Today the bank nationalization, even today it has meaning. Who are the people who made all the, excluded rural people come into the banking system? Public sector banks. Private, you find me HDFC Bank or ICICI Bank somewhere in rural areas? No. The heavy lifting of economic growth in the country, financial inclusion in the country, that's being done by the public sector banks. You hand them over to the private sector, you have abandoned 75% of the people in the country. No poor man will have access to the banks. So I am a big fan of bank nationalization. You may laugh at me, but in the interview, etc., what do you say? You say reforms are required. You have to still bat for the public sector banks. Definitely yes, financial inclusion, all the Jan Dhan, etc. Who did all that? Not the private banks. If tomorrow your economy is in crisis, God forbid, you have to lend a lot of money for projects which are risk prone, who will do it? Private sector won't do it. Public sector will do it. So public sector, you can't put a gun to my head and have an answer, public sector requires privatization. No. There are issues, sort them out. And guts lie, leadership lies in reforming the public sector, ensuring they live up to the expectations, the goals. Not abandoning the easiest thing. Any of these guys, you sell your SBI, they are ready to buy. Is that the solution? No. That's an escape. '69 she did, comes back in 80, does it again. This by any word is guts. Am I saying she is the one to deliver? No. But will I admire her? Definitely for all this. Extensive expansion of banking infrastructure. Directed credit, give to agriculture 18%. Vulnerable, X amount. MSMEs, solar energy, education. You're directing the credit. That is the majesty of the policy. And in that, public sector occupies a much larger role. So this once again is your quick read for the bank nationalization. Why and what's the effect? Yeah. Now, sixth we haven't come to yet. Anything before? No, this is also much later. Okay, I'll pick on this, C, and the one later also. Every country historically, that includes the latest giant, China, the country that has made it from agriculture to manufacturing to services. That is a historical progression, evolution of the economy. In India, Nehru started out right brilliant. Oof, that brilliance is absolutely beyond imagination. Agriculture, Mahalanobis model. Capital goods, universities, engineering colleges, townships, good tie-ups with USSR, etc., etc. That is about the most ideal way. But then in India we have some problems. The problem is I'll go according to the textbook, though I differ a little bit. In India, you stifled the private enterprise by your IDRA and license permit Raj. You stifled it. Yes? So why will anyone come and set up an industry? Number one. Secondly, the land that you have is so limited, The entire, tomorrow let's say artificial intelligence, the company whose share will double in 6 months may be operating from the basement of old Rajendra, that's all. Bigger than Steel Authority of India Limited. They require not even 1 acre. So services sector doesn't occupy land, while manufacturing requires a lot of land. That means displacement, that means against the will of the people you have to, take the land, etc. So we thought, given the land problem, resettlement, rehabilitation problem, let's not go for manufacturing. We thought means please understand. After Nehru went, serious socio-economic development also went away with him. What did you have? You had 3 years of holiday. After that you had all this geopolitics and populism you had. After that you had emergency. From 1966 till 1991, entire 2.5 decades down the drain. Rather than give employment to hundreds of millions of people on a stable and structural basis by developing your manufacturing, you are giving them doles, IRDP, NREP, RLEGP, all that. So, manufacturing did not come up in the country. Textbook expects you to say this. Stifled economic initiative, IDRA, land problem, resettlement rehabilitation problem, and primarily this. And also you reserved a lot of sectors for MSME, and that was in a directed way you did it. These are the 4 reasons. And please follow me, one more thing. Green Revolution took place. I want to tell you something about the Green Revolution. Green Revolution changed the politics and society in the country. It led to the emergence of new cars. See, society doesn't give me a great status, but I have land. That land started giving me money. With that money, what did I do? I didn't set up a factory. I started a law college. I started a school. I started, some whatever. So everything I did with the money generated by the Green Revolution was into the services sector. I started a hotel, a college, etc. Why did I start a college and not industry? Industry means once again land and displacement and all that. And one more thing is, in the services sector, we have the talent. Also, till 1994, services sector was not taxed. Going to manufacturing, the tax was 60%, 70%. Start a school or a college, or a hotel. For education, there is no, hotel is also services sector. Till 94, there was no tax on hotels at all. No tax on services at all, till 94. First time in 94, you introduced service taxation. And what was the rate of taxation? 2%, 3%, 4%. So if you put your money to the services sector, it's tax-free for a long, long time. Put your money in the manufacturing sector, you get taxed to death, 80%, 70%. So there are tax issues, land issues, rehabilitation issues, and so on. That's the reason why the manufacturing sector in the country didn't take off. Services took off. There was a debate about, should we persist with services because these are digital times? India is a leader, digital public infrastructure, e-commerce, etc. You can get people for health and education and lots of tourism and so on. Yeah, maybe you could do it. But the question in the main examination was, manufacturing is crucial, and what are we doing to ensure manufacturing in the country? He expects you to say, Make in India, manufacturing zones, SEZs, and PLI, semiconductors. He expects you to say this, and you say that. So, that's a debate about manufacturing versus services. You will find it here. License permit Raj. Remember, this license permit Raj is coming back. Take the license of the government of India to be allowed to import laptops. What is that? Where is the need? Who are you trying to impress? That is why the government also postponed it, because the world did not like it. And by the time you thought you could emerge in the manufacturing sector, China is everywhere. So you can't possibly beat China. But then when supply chains broke down because of COVID, broke down further because of Ukraine, America, China started fighting. We were also not comfortable with China. Multinationals were looking for an alternative to China. Stay invested in China, 100 rupees. 20 rupees you stay out, 30 rupees, China plus one. We thought we could be a candidate. That's another stimulus for us to opt for, manufacturing and all. Ukraine, supply chains, global supply chain crisis, US, China, and then you will also have COVID. COVID somewhere you will have. COVID also taught you the lesson that don't depend so much. You be the hub, bring people here, you manufacture, and pandemic, that's COVID. Pandemic, Ukraine, supply chain. The examiner wants this portion of it, he's happy. So, we have so far covered up to the 5th 5-year plan. Now, anything else? Services, services. Why is it that we are here? I gave you some background. We have got the advantage. We got the university, we got the young people, we got the engineering colleges. They're all tech savvy. We got the educational talent. And then there was no taxation. That's very, very big. Somewhere here it will come. And just godsend for you, digitalization. In all these areas we are very big. Healthcare, media and all that, I don't know. Tourism was good some time back. Today what is tourism? Imagine if he goes to Sikkim, will he come back? He'll get washed out. Untaxed till 94. They were not taxed at all. And after that, did you tax them on par with the manufacturing? Far from it. Manufacturing 60%, services 2%, 3%. So that is a major reason why India's service sector spread. And other reasons also I've given. Anything else that we need? Niti, not now. No. You can close this. Planning Commission, is there a graphic? There could be. This is versus. Versus comes later. Okay. 6th 5-year plan will come back later. We are back discussing